Hey guys, I'm just sitting down to record part 2, so hopefully I'll have it up for you in a couple days. I just want to quickly read something from Michio Kaku's Hyperspace. It's the book I'm reading right now. This is from the chapter Wormholes, Gateways to Another Universe, and the section Colliding Universes. Check out this page the day before, check out this page right before it. Pretty sweet, eh? Okay. As Nobel laureate Steven Weinberg explains, the world is the way it is, at least in part, because otherwise there would be no one to ask why it is the way it is. Stated in this way, the weak version of the anthropic principle is hard to argue with. To have life in the universe, you need a rare conjunction of many coincidences. Life, which depends on the variety of complex biochemical reactions, can easily be rendered impossible if we change some of the constants of chemistry and physics by a small amount. For example, if the constants that govern nuclear physics were changed even slightly, then nucleosynthesis and the creation of the heavy elements in the stars and supernovae might become impossible. The atoms might become unstable or impossible to create in supernovae. Life depends on heavy elements beyond iron, for the creation of DNA and protein molecules. Thus, the smallest change in nuclear physics would make the heavy elements of the universe impossible to manufacture in the stars. We are children of the stars. However, if the laws of nuclear physics change in the slightest, then our parents are incapable of having children. Us. We are the children of the stars. However, if nuclear physics change in the slightest, then our parents are incapable of having children. Us. As an example, it is safe to say that the creation of life in the early oceans probably took 1 to 2 billion years. However, if we could somehow shrink the lifetime of the proton to several million years, then life would be impossible. There would not be enough time to create life out of the random collisions of molecules. In other words, the very fact that we exist in the universe to ask these questions about it means that a complex sequence of events must necessarily have happened. It means that the physical constants of nature must have a certain range of values so that the stars live long enough to create the heavy elements in our bodies, so that the protons don't decay too rapidly before life has a chance to germinate, and so on. In other words, the existence of humans who can ask questions about the universe places a huge number of rigid constraints on the physics of the universe. For example, its age, its chemical composition, its temperature, its size, and its physical processes. Remarking on these cosmic coincidences, physicist Freeman Dyson once wrote, "As we look out into the universe and identify many of the accidents of the physics and astronomy that must have worked together to our benefit, it almost seems as if the universe, in some sense, must have known that we were coming." This takes us to the strong version of the anthropic principle, which states that all physical constants of the universe have been precisely chosen by God or some supreme being so that life is possible in the universe. The strong version, because it raises questions about a deity, is much more controversial among scientists. Conceivably, it might have been blind luck if only a few constants of nature were required to assume certain values to make life possible. However, it appears that a large set of physical constants must assume a narrow band of values in order for life to form in our universe. Since accidents of this type are highly improbable, perhaps a divine intelligence, God, precisely chose these values in order to create life. When scientists first hear of some version of the anthropic principle, they are immediately taken aback. Physicist Heinz Pagels recalled, "Here was a form of reasoning completely foreign to the usual way that theoretical physicists went about their business. The anthropic principle is a more sophisticated version of the old argument that God located the earth at just the right distance from the sun. If God had placed the earth too close, it would have been too hot to support life. If God had placed it too far, then the earth would be too cold. The fallacy of this argument is that millions of planets in the galaxy probably are sitting at the incorrect distance from their sun, and therefore life on them is impossible. However, some planets will, by pure accident, be at the right distance from their sun. Our planet is one of them, and hence we are here to discuss the question. Eventually, most scientists become disillusioned with the anthropic principle because it has no predictive power, nor can it be tested. Pagels reluctantly concluded that, unlike the principle of physics, it affords no way to determine whether it is right or wrong. There is no way to test it, unlike conventional physics principles. Unlike conventional physical principles, the anthropic principle is not subject to experimental falsification. This sure sign that it is not a scientific principle, physicist Alan Guth says bluntly. Emotionally, the anthropic principle kind of rubs me the wrong way. The anthropic principle is something that people do if they can't think of something better to do. If they can't think of anything better to do. To Richard Feynman, the goal of a theoretical physicist is to prove yourself wrong as fast as possible. However, the anthropic principle is sterile and cannot be disproved. In this simulation, asking questions is not just an option. It is the key to unlocking infinite possibilities. In this simulation, asking questions is not just an option. It is the key to unlocking infinite possibilities, expanding awareness, and recalibrating reality. This book was the basis for the TV show Sliders. It was epic. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, and see you in part 2.